1. A voice in the night. I've been wanting to tell this story with others for a long time. So here we go. A friend of mine has some private land out of the way in the northern Georgia, basically lower Appalachia. He'd done some work to the land out there, and we would often be out all day just doing some shooting or hunting. In 2022, we planned to have a large group of our friends camp out at the land. We would shoot during the day, hang out, and camp that night, and 2 of us would go deer hunting in the morning. We all stayed up late, a few retired to their hammocks, or one guy who brought a tent, and the rest of us made a late-night run to Waffle House. After we got back, we all said goodnight and went to bed. We all set up in a big circle around the fire we had going. That was except for my friend and I, who set up apart from everyone else, so we could sneak out in the morning to hunt deer. It was about 3 a.m. and I was in my hammock and unable to go sleep. I hand slept a lick and was wide awake. I didn't do a lot of camping, so I just couldn't get comfortable. About 30 minutes after laying down, I suddenly heard a voice that sounded that it was coming from about 50 yards away. It's hard to tell in the dense wood. It came the opposite direction of where everyone was at. It just kept repeating, "Hey, my name, hey, come here, hey." It sounded exactly like one of my friends who was asleep in his tent in the opposite direction of the voice. It went on for maybe 10 to 15 seconds, then abruptly stopped. I've always heard the stories of the Appalachians and the woods. I knew not to investigate. Eventually, about an hour later, I fell asleep. The next morning, I confirmed with my friends that no one was awake at that time. I've been out there many times since then. Those woods really have never felt the same since that event. No one else is around anywhere near these woods. The only thing out there is an abandoned chicken house. After telling this story to a friend that wasn't out there, he told me he wasn't surprised. He also confirmed he never felt that those woods were safe. Him and the guy who owns the woods had a weird event happen while hog hunting late at night. But I'll save that for another time. 2. Unsettling experience in northwest Montana. My boyfriend and I, both 20, were up at Libby Creek Gold Panning area on the evening of July 3rd from about 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. We met this genuine, really cool guy with his son who showed us how to do it. We just did a road trip in Gold Panned and wanted to pick it up as a fun hobby. Super cool family and helped us for like 2.5 hours. He took us down to an area he had a claim on. We had parked at a pullout down the Libby Creek Road where the first bridge is, both my boyfriend and I, and the man and his son, so 2 cars parked there. The man started telling us about how him and his son found a human arm down the path where we were. Now I know this sounds fucking insane, but the son swore he saw it too, and he was only about 10 or 11. Telling us about how lots of people go missing up here in the woods, and no one ever hears about it or finds them again. Apparently, there's tons of people living off the grid that don't want to be found for many reasons. The guy wasn't weird or creepy at all, just genuinely trying to let us know the possible dangers of what's out here. Halfway through the evening at about 8:30, I went to grab a sweatshirt, saw a dark gray truck with a hardcover canopy on a drive-by with dogs barking. No big deal. I grabbed my sweatshirt and then went back to our spot down in the creek. The man and his son left around 9:30, and we went back up to our car at 9:35. My boyfriend wanted to check out a different area on the other side of the bridge, so he headed down there and I stayed in the car. It's important to note this area has decent light until about 10:15, 10:30. He starts walking back up not even 5 minutes later, saying he got this feeling he was being watched. Meanwhile, when I was in the car, I had the same feeling. I'm not a superstitious or anxious person, but I felt scared for my life, and I had no clue because it just came out of nowhere. Seconds after he's back in the car, the same exact truck that I saw earlier drives by, then stops halfway on the bridge for about a minute. The guy backs up, kind of blocking us into the pullout we're in, and gets out of his truck and starts asking us what we're doing. My boyfriend tells him we're just leaving and asks if he was the landowner, just so we can be respectful and let him know we're on the way out. He says no and that he's going fishing in the area with his dogs. But at 10 p.m.? I don't know, we're not local to the area, live over the border in Idaho. But this just seemed odd to us. He got back in his truck to back out more, but then stopped again and started honking at us when we were turning around about to leave. He got out of his car again and said, "Are you guys looking for something?" Immediately felt even weirder vibes than before. We told him we were gold panning, but leaving. He starts going on about a campground up the road and that we should go up there as it's private. Was going on and on trying to convince us to camp out here in the middle of nowhere. Again, we told him we're going home, and then he finally backed off and we drove away. We both discussed how we had that same gut feeling someone was watching us and that something bad was going to happen. I personally think that the man had been watching us, or at least me, from down or up the creek at one of the pullouts, and possibly thought I was alone since he saw me go to the car alone. Then when he saw the other truck leave and it was just one car, that's when he came up the road and arrived just seconds after my boyfriend got into the car with me again. We both think he was trying to get me alone to do who knows what. The fact he saw me clear as day twice when I was obviously alone was really unsettling. We don't think he was just going fishing, because as we were leaving, we saw him heading down the path without his dogs or any fishing gear. He or someone had to have been watching us. Luckily, I had a gun in the car with me just in case. 3. What was this thing? Skinwalker? Open to suggestions. My family is whitewater rafting in West Virginia, and my stepbrother and I were walking around in the woods after everyone in the campsite had gone to bed, joking about finding Goat Man because we were going across some bike bridge. Anyways, nothing happened, nothing unusual. But after we got past the bridge and walking on the trail, we started hearing whistling. I thought it sounded like whistling. My brother said he thought it was a girl screaming from behind us. I got a little freaked, but tried to put off. But then it was toward the right direction of the campsite, so I rationalized that it was my family trying to scare us. But then it moved back behind us, and then to the left, and it just kept changing directions and sounded as if it was getting closer. I started telling him that it's messed up and freaky, so I picked up the pace, and we made it back to the campsite, and it just stopped completely. We hung around the fire for a little bit, and nothing happened after that. I'm in my tent now writing this. I'm not scared or anything, just a little creeped out, but mostly curious. Part of me wanted to go back into the woods and see if I could hear it again. I've always believed in Bigfoot and cryptids, but always wrote off skinwalkers as being too supernatural to believe in. Just wanted to hear what you guys thought of this or any alternate explanations. Thank you.